Hi to everyone, welcome back to another video episode on production and cost chapter. So, in last class, we were trying to understand the basic terminologies of this chapter, that is called first one production function, then followed by production equation, then the classification of factors of production. Okay, and today we'll discuss about the new topic of the same chapter, that is about Iso-quants. So before getting to this meaning, Iso-quants, and you need to understand the basic, the element of it. That is, in the previous videos, to understand the consumer behavior, we try to understand indifference curve analysis. At the same time, in order to understand the behavior of a producer, so one must understand graphical representation of Iso-quants. So here, coming to the topic, Iso means equal. Iso means equal. Quant means quantities. Quant means quantities. It means a producer, before starting up of any of a business activity, when he has all the factors of production called land, labor, capital, organization, okay, material, everything when he has, so he has a major important one element in his mind: how to increase the production, how to decrease the cost. The major element is about how to increase the production and how to decrease the cost, which we already heard about it. That is called least cost factor combination. For that, one has to understand the Iso-quants. Iso-quants refers to meaning of it. Iso-quants refers to all possible combinations. All possible combination of two inputs. That inputs may be anything, x1 and x2. So all possible combination of two inputs which yields same maximum level of output. I'm trying to understand this thing. It's all possible combination of two inputs, and those two inputs we measure as x1 and x2. So major important elements are the factors of production in a business. Apart from the land, apart from the organization, two are there. Then that is called labor and capital. So on the different combination of these two, labor for capital or capital for labor, you may make n number of mind maps. Okay, if I took this amount of labor and less amount of capital, or more amount of capital, less amount of labor, so what will be the possible output? Then that is called Iso-quant. All possible combination, possible in the sense possibility of getting the output, then that is called all possible combination of two inputs, x1 and x2, which yields same maximum level of output. Same maximum level. What does it mean? Maximum, that is quite good. Same maximum level of output stands here when a producer has an idea of, if I took 10 labors and 2 lakh worth of capital, then how much I can produce. If I decrease the labor, increase the capital and capital equipments, machineries and all. Here the capital doesn't mean that money. Capital includes even the machineries, all the material requisites which are needed with the capital, not only the money. So if I increase the capital equipments and decrease the labor, so what will be the next possible output? So you'll make a number of mind map, okay, in that what is the best result within the given level of inputs. Then that the all possible combination, what you want to see, the possibilities of output, then that the point is called Iso-quants. Then that can be expressed in a graphical way, and it's also physically expressed. So moreover, each Iso-quant when we represent, it will be like convex to the origin and as like indifference curve, and each Iso-quants can be labeled as IQ with physical output, like in quantities like 200 units, 500 units, 700 units. Likewise, how we can measure the quantity of output, then that can be easily labeled as a quantity output. and moreover it is negatively so related. And if you wanted to understand how the iso-quants can be graphically expressed, and this is the way. So before that, once you must understand iso-quant is all possible combination of two inputs. Two inputs x1 and x2. You can take any of the x1 or x2 as a labor for capital, the capital for a labor, which yields the same maximum level of output. The major agenda of each and every producer is to increase the output, decrease the cost to enjoy the profits. In such case, so how the iso-quants will look like? So iso-quants on graph figure will be like this. So maybe if you wanted to draw the graphical representation of it, then iso-quants will look like this. Let's take x and y axis. Okay, you all know that the graphical representation of the two quadrants, positive and negative, moreover. So here on x axis we represent labor, and y axis we represent capital. Okay. So as a producer, if you took more amount of capital, more means from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 points, if you took the more amount of capital, then he has a less capital resources to have a more amount of labor. So he has to take a less amount of labor. Then this will be the quantity of output of if you took the first level. Okay. If it is not, if you want to increase the labor from this x1 to, if you want to increase x2 level, then that is possible. He can increase, but he has to decrease some units of capital. Then the capital level will get decreased. Then the quantity of output will be like this. Okay. Then assume this IQ in the sense not internal quotient, iso-quants, has given some 100 units of output, and IQ2 has given 200 units of quantities of output. Then a producer has one agenda within that thing. He can decrease bit more from this level. He can decrease bit more. Then he can increase the level of labor, but decreasing some units of capital. Then meantime, so he has a capacity to increase another level of quantity of output, like from IQ1 to IQ2 or IQ2 to IQ3, which yields 300 units of output. This is just a rough figure of understanding an iso-quants, where the iso-quants is an all possible combination of two inputs. Okay, so here you can take x1 as a labor and x2 as a capital. And if you decrease some capital, at the same time if you increase the labor, then what will be the proportionate output you can increase? Then that's the thing you need to express in a graphical form. Even the graphical form, when you express, the output can be measured in physical outputs like 100 units, 200 units, 300 units, for example. Try to understand one small example. Okay. So you have an important 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, organization, and you have a plan to start one cement factory. In a cement factory, assume you have situated a particular factory in around 3 acres of land. In 3 acres of land, you have taken some invested some 10 lakhs. Out of the 10 lakhs, you have given some 5 lakhs worth to the capital and equipments and machineries, and the rest 5 lakhs you have been maintained for 20 laborers. So when you have taken 20 laborers, assume you have produced some 100 units, where human effect is more than the machineries. Assume as a human effect is more, means labor interference is more than the capital equipments. In such factory, then you have a plan to increase number of laborers or number of shifts. Then you have another plan that what if I take instead of 20, if I took 30 or 35 laborers, but decreasing some amount of capital equipments and machineries. If I increase the number of shifts, then what if I going to produce means, if it is increased one, then you can decrease some proportion on a capital and the same proportion you put it on a labor to increase the output. And the inverse also will quite happen. Okay, it depends upon is it capital intensive or labor intensive techniques of production you are utilizing. in a production activity. Then this is all about the iso-quant. Iso-quant is all possible combination of two inputs which yields the same maximum level of output, and these maximum levels of output which is labeled in physical quantities. Then this is called iso-quants. Now coming to the next topic of today's session, that is about important factors of production. The most important, not only just important, the most important factors of production. So when you heard about the factors of production, you will come up with the land, labor, capital, organization, techniques, okay, material, men, skilled, unskilled, many things will come in your mind. So what is the most important factor? Then the rest of all these factors, when you compare, the most important factor, not is the land, not even labor, capital or organization, the most important factor, that is time. Okay, so without understanding a time factor, you cannot go for any of the factor to be in your favor. Okay, so even though you have a huge amount of land, okay, so finest labor and least cost of capital and the perfect organization capacity, if you are running out of time, then there is no use of your factory, no firm, there is no company can work on. For example, assume you have a capacity of production per day, some 500 cement bags in your factory. Okay, all of a sudden you got an order of producing some 2000 cement bags. Even though if you work out at 100% capacity with all land, labor, capital and organization, you cannot produce more than the 500 cement bags in a day. It means the particular time, even though you have all the factors of production on your favor, if a time doesn't support you, then you cannot produce anything. So the most important factors of production, that is about time. So on the basis of time, the production are classified under three heads are there: very short run production, short run production and long run production. So once again, three are there: very short run production, long run production. So in very short run production, where the producer cannot touch neither fixed factor nor variable factor to increase or decrease the levels of production. But coming to the next two are there, which is there in your syllabus for NCERT is concerned. So there are the two types of production are there. One is called short run production, next one is called a long run production. So I hope you people got understood this thing. To increase the labor, to decrease the capital, how much the producer has increased this quantity, or the reverse forward. Okay. Now coming to the types of production. So on the basis of time, types of production are classified into two. So coming to it, so first one is about short run production. Second one is about long run production. Now coming to it, first one, short run production. Short run production stands where a producer has capacity to change certain factors of production to increase the quantity of output. Among the four important factors of production like land, labor, capital and organization, he has to fix certain factors as fixed and certain factors as a variable. So when he makes certain factors as variable like labor, capital, he can alter, then up to certain extent he can increase the production but not beyond on it. Then that the production is called short run production, where one law is applicable on this short run production, then that is called law of variable proportion. Law of variable proportion. Okay, so the thing we'll discuss in next further classes. What is the law of variable proportion, how it is applicable, everything in detail we'll discuss. So to the point of time being, short run production is one type of a production process where the producer has a capacity to change certain factor as fixed and certain factors of production as a variable to increase the quantity of output. Then that is called short run production. And coming to the long run production, where producer has sufficient time, he can increase, he can change, he can alter all the factors of production on his favor. He can change the fixed factor, even he can change the variable factors on his favor according to the level of production. Then that is called long run production. So where the mass production can be done. So here another law will come. Then that is called law of variable returns to scale. Variable returns to scale, which is also called as economies of scale. Economies of scale in simple mass production. You can see the heavy large industries, heavy large companies and all. So those all the companies have not situated or not expanded the activities within 1 year or 6 months. They have taken 20, 30, 40 years to expand their business operations, to expand their company affairs and all. And for that they have not only increased the labor, not only the capital, not only the organizational capacities and all, not only the techniques, even they have increased the land. So J.R.D. Tata, you might have heard about it, they have situated only on 1 or 2 acres. Now one particular entire district is there of Jamshedpur. Likewise, some of the companies are there where this all comes under the economies of scale, of large scale production. For the time being, on the basis of time, were classified into 3, but they made into only 2 in your syllabus. One is called short run production, next one is called long run production. So in further classes we will discuss much in detail side, deeper side of these topics. So we will discuss about that today. Another discussion of today's topic, that is about types of production. So types of production were classified into, or classification of production were classified into 2, then that is called not 2, 3, that is about TP, AP and MP. So in simple, so types of production, types of product or production were classified into 3. So in that, first one is about total product, which is termed as TP. Next one is about average product, AP. Third one is about marginal product, that is called MP. Okay. So coming to the first one, TP, total product. The total quantity of goods and services which have been produced in a particular period of time is called total product. Once again, TP refers to the total quantity of output produced in a given period of time with all the inputs, then that is called total product. Then that can be expressed as TP equals to sum of MP. It means in a particular time, from morning 8 to evening 8, by using of all the factors of production like land, labor, capital, organization, everything. So how much the quantity has been produced in a particular period of time, then that is called TP. Now coming to the next one, average product. Average product. Okay. So average product, the name itself indicates per unit of total production. In simple, average product refers to per unit of a total quantity of output of variable factor, then that is called average product. So the formula of calculating AP is about AP equals to TP by L. AP equals to TP by L, where AP stands average product, TP stands total product, L stands for quantity of variable inputs. Quantity of variable inputs, in simple, the labor factor. Okay. So for example, assume there are 2 laborers are there who have produced some 50 mobile phones in a particular technical segment. So what is the per labor has been produced? In the sense, total is a 50. 50 divided by 2 laborers are the men. So each one has produced 25 mobile phones. Likewise, the total quantity divided by the number of units of variable factor, then that is called per unit of variable output, then that is called average product. Now coming to the next one, marginal product. Marginal product in the sense, additional output produced from the use of additional input, then that is called marginal output or marginal product. In simple, marginal product refers to additional employment of input which yields additional output, then that is called marginal product. Then the formula is very simple, then that is for guaranteed for 1 or 2 marks, which has been quite oftenly asked number of times in last number of years. So marginal product is about the MPN, in the sense marginal product of nth unit. MPN equals to TPN minus TPN minus 1, in the sense. So when we employ the additional input like additional labor or additional capital equipment, then what is the additional output we produce? Then that is called additional product, is called as a marginal product. So the types of product or types of production are classified into 3, which is guaranteed for 4 marks for you people. So first one is about total product, next one is called average product, and third one is about the marginal product. In coming classes, we will discuss about in detailed side the levels of production, which are classified into short run and long run, with the detailed version with the graph and the chart will be there. So stay tuned. If any of your doubts, you can call or message me. Thank you.